All right, this is Mr. Wyrick, and I'm here today to go over some of this review stuff with you. These will be the exact same categories that the questions come from on the test. So let's jump right in with this first one. Identify opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. On this one, it says just which one is the hypotenuse. Remember, that's across from the 90-degree angle. So that should be either JG or GJ, in this case, GJ. There's going to be a couple questions like this. There's no telling what you're going to get. What segment is opposite to X? So we go out from X. The side that we run into is DP or PD, whatever you want to call it. Here it's called PD. So that one, pretty straightforward. No surprises there. Identifying our trig ratios. Again, some of these won't have all the values filled in, but this is a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. What is the tangent of Q? Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So that should be 3 over 4. To the nearest hundredth is 2 decimal places. So 3/4 is 0.75 as a decimal. If we do this again, the cosine of K, cosine is the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So that's my one that's missing here. Let's see. Well, I'm not real sure on this one, so I'm just going to go 34 squared minus 16 squared. So 34 squared minus 16 squared. This is because I have my hypotenuse, okay? I have my hypotenuse, so I'm going to subtract. If I had my other sides, I'd add. Since I have my hypotenuse, I'm going to subtract. This is 900, so then I need the square root of 900, but I already know the square root of 900. The square root of 900 is just going to be 30. So then I've got to do my math here. My adjacent over hypotenuse is 30 over 34. So I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to type this in, 30 over 34. And I get 0.8823, whatever, blah, 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 all the way down. They want 100th, that's 2 decimal places. The one after that is a 2, so it's not going to round up. So 0.88 should be just my answer there by itself. Okay, so that's how that's gonna go. Make sure you remember the SOHCAHTOA. The level 2 is gonna be the same kind of thing. Express the sine of P as a fraction in simplest terms. And I've got some weird stuff here, right? I've got the square root of 60 and the square root of 61. If I square both of those, that's gonna be 60 and 61. So when I add them together, I get 121, and the square root of 121 is 11. So my hypotenuse here is 11. So the sine of P is the opposite side to P, which should be this 61, over my hypotenuse, which is my 11. So when I put this, it's gonna be the square root of 61, and then I'm gonna go outside that square root and just put it over 11. That's gonna be my simplest terms, okay? The only thing you have to be careful about is if you have the square root on the bottom, it does some weird things, but I don't think they're doing that here. 17 and 83 would be 100, so that'd be 10, that wouldn't be one. This one's all listed. So the sine of O, the opposite over the hypotenuse, that's just gonna be 5 over 6. Okay, so nothing too crazy in this section either. Using trig to find a side is where we're gonna use our sine, cosine, or tangent is equal to whatever over whatever. In this case, and I'm gonna write this one down for you so you can see what it looks like. It says solve for X. I have my angle. I have the side opposite my angle, and I'm looking for my hypotenuse. So because this is opposite over hypotenuse, I'm gonna use sine. So this is the sine of 29 is equal to that opposite side of 5.6 over my hypotenuse of X. So it looks like this when I write it down. Because the X is on the bottom of the fraction, I'm gonna swap these. So it's X is equal to 5.6 over the sine of 29, okay? Knowing that, that's what I'm gonna type into my calculator. Not even gonna go to a different one, just gonna use this one. 5.6 over, should be in functions here. Yeah, the sine of 29. You can see my degrees are highlighted here, not my radians. So I get 11.55. They want to the nearest tenth. That's going to be 11.6 when I round that. Okay, so all of those are going to be like that. You're going to need to make sure you set this up correctly. I might still have the sine, cosine, tangent thing up on the board, the SOHCAHTOA, but you should make sure you know how to write that as well. Close out this calculator down here so I can see what's going on. The next one is trig ratios and similar triangles. So this one's just asking about what's going to match up to what. The tangent of R here, because I have similar triangles, the tangent of R is SQ over QR, the opposite side over the adjacent side. The ratio that would be equivalent to that would be the tangent of T, which would be SU over UT. And here's that, US over UT. Okay, so it's just finding what matches up, what's gonna be the same. Okay, what's the same as the cosine of S? Again, I have my right triangle here. There are three right triangles. They're all gonna be similar. The cosine of S would be my SP over SR, my adjacent over my hypotenuse. So the one that's going to be the same as that, if I have it in the big one, it's going to be SR over SQ, the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. Okay, if you have to draw the triangles out separate, or if you need me to show you another way, I can help you with that. Okay, then the last one, which is based off yesterday's assignment, might be a little difficult here. Find the length of the side of X in simplest radical form with a rational denominator. So this is exactly what I was worried about. When we have the 45, 45, 90 right triangle, like the one that's shown here, this side is X and this is X times the square root of 2. So I need to take 1 and divide it by the square root of 2. They don't like that. You can't leave the square root of 2 as the denominator because it's irrational. It doesn't have an end to it. So I'm going to divide this by 2 and put it over the square root of 2. So basically I'm multiplying by square root of 2 over 2. So this is 1 square root of 2, and then I'm just going to put that whole thing over 2. Okay, it's just a matter of are you going to get lucky on this one? Are you not? This is going to be, this is a 30, 60, 90 because it's an equilateral triangle. So that would cut this down to 30. This is 1. This is going to be a half because this was an equilateral triangle. It's getting cut in half. So because that's a half, I'm going to multiply that by the square root of 3. So it's square root of 3 over 2. So square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so that's the complicated ones. We'll go over some more of those in class, try to make sure everybody gets it. But that should be your review for today. Hopefully you understand it, and good luck on your test tomorrow.